This week's Torah portion marks a change in the narrative. We go from stories to rules and laws. And this week's Torah portion has tons of rules and laws and instructions for living, which is what it all is. And in the middle of it all, it speaks about certain types of people, widows, orphans, people that we have to take better care of than just regular people. We have an obligation to everybody, but God's like, pay attention. And there's one group of people that God mentions in the Torah called converts, people that converted to Judaism. And God says, don't oppress the ger, because you were strangers in the land of Egypt. And the question that people ask is, did we really need a reason? Like, would people be like reading the Torah being like, don't oppress the ger, and being like, hey, why not? Like, why would God say that? Like, I don't know, they're vulnerable, they're new, we could take advantage of them. Like, we should totally oppress the ger. Oh, we were strangers in the... Oh, I get it. My great 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 grandfather was in Egypt, so yeah, I wouldn't. It wasn't intuitive to me beforehand. When I first read it, I was like, this makes no sense. Why not? And now I get it. Really, we need to like hear this. If God would have wrote "Don't oppress the ger," that wouldn't have been enough. He's got to like justify it. Like, doesn't it feel like God's like jabbing you? Like, all right, tough guy, you were a stranger too. Like, why is God wasting ink on explaining what is an intuitive principle of being nice to people? So, whenever we deal with people, there's really two types of ways in which we deal with people that are going through something, that are suffering, or that are vulnerable. It's sympathy and empathy. Sympathy is I feel bad for you. I look down from my conceptual pedestal and I feel for your burden. Empathy is I feel bad with you. I come down off my pedestal and I sit next to you, conceptually, and I try to feel your pain. I may not have the right words to say, but I try to help carry your burden. And they're very different. What God is teaching us is an incredible principle in life. God is saying, listen, when you see a convert, when I mean don't oppress him, I don't mean just don't not be nice to him. It's called being a mensch. I'm trying to get you to a deeper place, God says. When you see somebody that converted into our nation, that means that they left their family behind. They are new. They're vulnerable. They don't have the contacts. They don't have so many of the things we take for granted. And you may see them walk in, and you may feel bad for them. And you may not hurt them. And you may, feel bad and look down on, the person and sort of like really feel for their pain. God says, that's not enough. When I mean don't oppress a ger, I'm trying to tell you something different. Here's what I'm trying to tell you. You were strangers too. Go back. You also felt what it felt like to be different. You also felt like what it means to be oppressed. You, whether it's you or your family member, you also, by the way, could feel what it feels like to be new and alone and vulnerable. Go back there. Go there. Think about that. Don't have sympathy for the ger. Have empathy for the ger. And there's an amazing commentary to the Peleo. It speaks about this, that the essence of this command wasn't not to do something bad. It was actually to do something really good. Take care of them. Include them. Watch out for them. Involve them. What God is driving at is this incredible secret to life, which is when you see somebody in pain, push yourself to empathy. Try to find a way to carry it with them. Try to open your heart beyond I'm sorry for you to I feel with you. That's the standard of where God wants us to interact with people. We think that the way we help people is when we say the right thing. It's not true. It's not saying things that make people feel better. It's feeling things that make people feel better. When we see somebody that's in need, Torah is pushing us and saying, remember, you also are in need. They're not underneath you. Don't look down on them. Sit with them. Be with them. Empathize with them. And what will happen is that you'll go beyond the not doing negative. And you'll start to be a person that knows how to do positive. You'll learn how to help them. You'll learn how to be with them. And through that, you'll be closer to the nation that really makes me proud.